Have you ever wondered why two people with the same income can end up living completely different financial lives? One grows wealth quietly, while the other struggles, no matter how much they earn. That mystery, the gap between what we know about money and how we act with it, is what this book explores. Welcome to The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This isn't your typical finance book filled with charts, formulas, and numbers. It's a deep dive into behavior, into the emotions, habits, and invisible stories that shape the way we earn, save, and spend. Because when it comes to building wealth, mindset matters more than math. Morgan Housel argues that financial success isn't about what you know. It's about how you behave. You can be a genius with numbers, yet fail to build wealth because of fear, greed, or impatience. And you can be average in math, but still thrive financially by mastering your emotions. The book combines timeless lessons, short stories, and real-life examples to teach us that money is never just about logic. It's deeply personal. It's about how you were raised, what you've experienced, and what you believe about risk, luck, and success. Over the next episodes, we'll break down all 20 key lessons from this book. From why no one's crazy when it comes to money, to why wealth is what you don't see, and how the secret to staying rich is completely different from the secret to getting rich. You'll learn why saving isn't just about discipline, it's about freedom. Why reasonable decisions often beat rational ones, and why luck, risk, and even pessimism play huge roles in how we view money. Each episode will be simple, practical, and easy to apply, whether you're just starting your financial journey or already building your own version of wealth. This series is for educational and inspirational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and none of this should be taken as professional financial advice. The goal is to help you understand how your mindset shapes your financial destiny. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right with money, but still not moving forward, maybe it's not your strategy that needs fixing. Maybe it's your psychology. In episode 1, we'll begin with the first 2 lessons. No one's crazy and luck and risk. We'll uncover why people make totally different choices about money and how luck plays a bigger role than most of us like to admit. This is The Psychology of Money, a journey to understanding the real reasons we win or lose with wealth. Let's begin. Some people earn millions and lose it all. Others earn modestly and quietly build wealth that lasts a lifetime. What separates them isn't intelligence, it's behavior. That's the first truth about money most people never realize. No one's really crazy. Everyone's just acting based on their own experiences. We all come from different backgrounds. Some people grew up watching their parents lose everything during a crisis, while others saw success and stability all their lives. Those experiences shape how we think about money, what we fear, what we chase, and what we believe is safe. To someone who lived through inflation, keeping cash feels secure. But to another person who grew up during a bull market, investing feels like the only smart move. Both are acting logically for their version of the world. Money decisions aren't made in spreadsheets. They're made in emotions, in fear, hope, and memory. That's why judging others rarely makes sense. Instead of thinking someone's crazy, it's better to ask what story led them to make that choice. Now let's move to the second lesson. Luck and risk. Morgan Housel reminds us that success and failure are never fully earned or fully deserved. Luck and risk always play a part. Think about Bill Gates. Brilliant, yes. But he also went to one of the only high schools in the world with a computer in the 1970s. That single piece of luck gave him a head start billions of others never had. His close friend Kent Evans was just as smart, just as ambitious, but his life ended early in an accident. Same environment, same talent, completely different outcomes. The lesson? Never assume success is only about hard work, and never assume failure means incompetence. Luck and risk are invisible forces shaping every story, including yours. So instead of asking, "What did they do right?" or "What did I do wrong?" a wiser question is, how much of this was skill and how much was circumstance? That mindset builds humility, patience, and gratitude, the real foundation of lasting wealth. Because in the end, understanding wealth isn't about mastering numbers. It's about understanding people and yourself. In the next episode, we'll talk about the trap of never enough. We'll explore why chasing more can quietly destroy your peace of mind, and how compounding, both in money and in life, creates results that often go unnoticed. There's a quiet trap that even the richest people fall into. The feeling that no matter how much they have, it's never enough. You see it everywhere. Someone earns their first 1,000 and dreams of 10,000. They reach 10,000 and want 100. The finish line keeps moving, and satisfaction never arrives. That's the lesson Morgan Housel calls never enough. The problem isn't ambition, it's comparison. The moment you measure your success against someone else's, you've already lost. Because someone will always have more money, more fame, more recognition. There's a story in the book about Rajat Gupta, a successful businessman who rose from poverty to become one of the most respected CEOs in the world. But even after earning hundreds of millions, he wanted more, to be a billionaire like those around him. That hunger led him to risk everything through insider trading. He lost it all, including his freedom. The lesson? Knowing when to stop is more powerful than knowing how to win. Enough is not too little. It's the balance between ambition and peace. True wealth isn't about having everything. It's about realizing you already have enough to live without fear. Now let's move to the next lesson. Confounding compounding. If there's one force in the world that quietly builds real wealth, it's compounding. The simple idea that growth builds on growth over time. It's how small habits turn into major results, how savings grow exponentially, and how patience beats intelligence. Yet, most people underestimate it because compounding feels slow at first. Take Warren Buffett, for example. Most of his net worth came after his mid-60s. He's been investing for over 70 years. And the reason he's one of the richest men on earth isn't because he earned massive returns. It's because he never stopped compounding. The key is consistency. You don't need to make extraordinary decisions. You just need to make good ones repeatedly, for a long time. That's how wealth and wisdom truly grow. So if you ever feel behind, remember this. You don't need more money right now. You need more time in the game. The biggest wins come not from brilliance, but from endurance. In the next episode, we'll talk about how the rich stay rich. We'll uncover why getting wealthy and staying wealthy are two completely different skills, and why luck alone isn't enough to keep success. Getting rich and staying rich are two completely different skills. One requires taking risks, being optimistic, and chasing opportunities. The other demands humility, fear, and constant awareness that things can change in an instant. That's the fifth lesson from the psychology of money. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Many people master the first skill, but fail at the second. They win big once, but lose it all because they couldn't step back, slow down, or protect what they built. Morgan Housel says the key to staying wealthy isn't brilliance, it's survival. To stay wealthy, you need a mindset built on three things: humility, paranoia, and frugality. Humility keeps you grounded, reminding you that luck helped you get here. Paranoia keeps you alert, reminding you that nothing is guaranteed. And frugality keeps you disciplined, reminding you that money you don't spend gives you freedom. It's not about playing safe forever. It's about staying in the game long enough to let compounding work its magic. Because wealth doesn't reward those who take the biggest risks. It rewards those who can endure the longest. Now the next lesson is called Tails. You win. This idea might surprise you. Most of the world's success comes from a few rare lucky events. The tails of the distribution. Out of thousands of ideas, only a few create real breakthroughs. Out of hundreds of investments, just a handful drive most of the returns. Amazon, for example, failed at dozens of projects. But the success of Amazon Web Services and Prime outweighed every failure combined. That's how the world works. A small number of big wins make up for countless losses. The lesson? You don't need to be right all the time. Just right once in a while, in a big way. So if you ever fail, don't panic. Failure isn't a signal to quit. It's part of the process that leads to the tail event, the rare win that changes everything. Getting rich takes courage. Staying rich takes consistency. And real wealth, it's about learning when to take risks and when to protect what you've earned. In the next episode, we'll talk about freedom, the real goal of money. We'll explore what true financial freedom really means and why it's often the most underrated form of wealth. At the core of every financial dream, there's one thing people are really chasing: freedom. Not luxury, not fame, not even security. What most of us want is the ability to wake up every day and say, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. That's the 7th lesson from The Psychology of Money. Freedom. True wealth isn't measured by how much money you have. It's measured by how much control you have over your time. When you don't have to answer to anyone for every decision, when your time is truly your own, that's when you're rich. Even if you don't have the biggest house, the flashiest car, or the most followers online, money is valuable not because of what it can buy, but because of the independence it gives. Every dollar you save buys you a small piece of your future, a few minutes, hours, or days that you get to control. Freedom isn't about quitting your job or escaping responsibility. It's about having choices. The choice to work because you want to, not because you have to. The choice to spend time with family, to rest, to create, or to simply live life on your own terms. Now let's move to the 8th lesson. The man in the car paradox. Have you ever seen someone driving an expensive car and thought, wow, people must admire them? Here's the truth, they probably don't. Most people don't look at the person driving. They imagine themselves behind the wheel. The paradox is this: we buy things hoping to earn respect, but people rarely give it. They're too busy thinking about their own dreams. So the next time you're tempted to spend just to impress, remember this: admiration doesn't come from what you own. It comes from who you are. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to be proven through possessions. That's why many wealthy people live modestly. They've already learned that the real reward of money isn't attention, it's freedom. The freedom to stop caring about what others think. In the end, money is just a tool. But if used wisely, it can give you the rarest luxury of all: control over your time, your energy, and your life. In the next episode, we'll talk about what you don't see about wealth. We'll uncover the invisible side of money, the habits, discipline, and restraint that quietly build true financial success. When you picture someone who's wealthy, what do you imagine? Maybe a big house, luxury cars, or designer clothes. But here's the truth. Real wealth is usually invisible. That's the 9th lesson from the psychology of money. Wealth is what you don't see. The car someone didn't buy, the clothes they didn't wear, the vacation they didn't post. That's where real wealth hides. Most people confuse being rich with looking rich. But the moment you spend money to show people how much you have, you're actually showing them how much you no longer have. True wealth is the money you don't spend, the savings, investments, and quiet decisions that give you options when life gets hard. Think about it. Financial success is built in private, but often displayed in public. The mistake is chasing the display instead of the substance. Because no matter how impressive something looks, the real power of money lies in what it allows you to do, not what it allows others to see. Now let's move to the next lesson. Save money. It sounds simple, almost boring, but saving money is one of the most powerful financial skills anyone can learn. Saving isn't just about discipline. It's about flexibility. It gives you control over your time, your choices, and your future. You don't save money because you always know what's coming. You save because you don't. Morgan Housel says, wealth is created not just by high income, but by the gap between your income and your ego. If your ego grows faster than your bank account, you'll always feel poor, no matter how much you earn. Saving gives you space to think, to breathe, and to survive when things go wrong. It's the financial version of oxygen. You only notice it when it's gone. You don't need to be a genius to save money. You just need to value independence more than impression. Because every dollar you save buys you something far more valuable than possessions. It buys you freedom, time, and peace of mind. In the next episode, we'll talk about be reasonable, not perfect. We'll explore why trying to be overly rational with money can backfire, and why being reasonable is often the smartest financial strategy of all. When it comes to money, most people try to be rational. They read all the advice, crunch the numbers, and follow every rule. But here's what Morgan Housel teaches. You don't need to be perfectly rational. You just need to be reasonable. Because money isn't just about numbers. It's about emotions, fear, hope, pride, and even anxiety. You can know all the math in the world, but if you panic when the market drops, that knowledge won't save you. Being reasonable means accepting that humans aren't robots. It means realizing that the best financial plan isn't always the most logical one. It's the one you can actually live with. A perfectly rational investor might take big risks to chase the highest returns. But a reasonable investor, they care more about sleeping peacefully at night than squeezing every possible gain. And in the long run, the calm and consistent investor usually wins. Because money is not a test of intelligence, it's a test of endurance. The goal isn't to make perfect decisions every time, but to make enough good ones for long enough to let compounding quietly do its work. Now let's move to lesson 12, surprise. If there's one thing history never stops teaching, it's that the future will always surprise us. Markets rise and fall, economies crash and recover. New technologies appear out of nowhere. Pandemics change everything. No one sees it coming, and yet we act like we do. Morgan Housel reminds us that the biggest financial events are almost always unpredictable. The things that truly shape the world, wars, crashes, revolutions, breakthroughs, they come as surprises. That's why it's better to prepare for surprises instead of trying to predict them. Leave room for flexibility. Save not just for what you expect, but for what you can't imagine. Build habits that can survive change. Being reasonable means admitting you don't know what's next and being okay with that. The people who succeed financially aren't the ones who predict the future perfectly. They're the ones who stay calm when they're wrong and adapt when things change. Because in the real world, the best strategy isn't perfection, it's preparation. And that's what keeps you strong when life throws you something unexpected. In the next episode, we'll talk about life has no guarantees. We'll explore why uncertainty is a permanent part of success and how embracing it can make you wiser, stronger, and more confident with money. No matter how much you plan, study, or prepare, life will always find a way to surprise you. Things rarely go exactly the way we expect, and that's why every plan, no matter how solid it seems, needs space to breathe. That's the message behind Lesson 13, Room for Error. Morgan Housel explains that success isn't about perfection, it's about survival. The people who make it far in life aren't those who take the biggest risks. They're the ones who build enough margin to recover when things go wrong. Because things will go wrong. Markets crash, businesses fail, opportunities fade. Even with the best decisions, luck still plays a role. And sometimes, luck doesn't go your way. Leaving room for error isn't being negative, it's being smart. It's understanding that good decisions can still lead to bad outcomes and preparing for that reality. If you invest every dollar, spend every cent, or plan your life as if nothing will ever fail, you'll crumble the moment something unexpected happens. But if you save more than you need, stay humble, and build a safety cushion, you'll stay in the game long enough to win. Because in money and in life, survival always comes before success. Now let's move to Lesson 14. You'll change. The person you are today is not the same person you'll be 10 years from now. Your priorities will shift, your dreams will evolve, and what once mattered deeply might lose its meaning over time. We often make long-term financial plans, assuming we'll always want the same things. But the truth is, we outgrow our goals, just like we outgrow old versions of ourselves. Maybe one day, you'll trade ambition for peace, or luxury for simplicity. And that's okay. That's why flexibility is so powerful. It gives you the freedom to adjust without guilt. It reminds you that success isn't a straight line. It's a living process that changes as you do. Money, at its best, is not just a measure of wealth. It's a tool for adaptability. It gives you the freedom to pivot, to pause, and to rebuild when life takes a different turn. So don't build a life that depends on perfection. Build one that can bend without breaking. Because the only real certainty in life is change, and the ones who embrace that truth are the ones who stay strong through it all. In the next episode, we'll talk about the hidden cost of everything. We'll explore why nothing in life is truly free, and how every choice, even the good ones, comes with a price worth understanding. Everything in life has a price. We just don't always pay it with money. That's the lesson behind nothing's free. Morgan Housel reminds us that every decision, every opportunity, and every reward carries a hidden cost: time, energy, effort, or peace of mind. Even the best choices require trade-offs. You might dream of building wealth, but the cost could be long nights, missed weekends, and years of uncertainty. You might want total freedom, but the price could be discipline and restraint. The truth is, there's no such thing as a free ride, only a price we either see or ignore. Understanding this changes the way you view success. It reminds you that money is only one part of the equation. The real cost of any goal is what you're willing to give up for it, and what you're not. The most successful people don't chase everything. They choose carefully what's worth paying for, not just with dollars, but with their time, health, and attention. Because in the end, what you trade for your goals often matters more than what you gain from them. Now let's move to lesson 16, you and me. This lesson dives into something we often overlook. Not everyone plays the same financial game. You might see someone buying a new car, investing in risky stocks, or selling a business, and think they're either brilliant or foolish. But here's the truth. They're just playing a different game than you. Maybe that investor is chasing short-term profits while you're saving for retirement. Maybe that entrepreneur is gambling big because they can afford to lose while you're focused on stability. The danger is when you start comparing your game to theirs. Money is personal. What makes sense for one person might be a disaster for another. That's why Morgan Housel says, understanding your own goals, time horizon, and risk tolerance is more important than following what everyone else is doing. Comparison can quietly destroy your peace. It makes you chase goals that don't fit your life and measure success by someone else's scoreboard. The moment you start doing that, you stop living your story and start living theirs. So before making a financial decision, always ask, whose game am I playing? Because the key to lasting wealth and happiness isn't winning their game. It's staying true to yours. In the next episode, we'll talk about why negativity sells. We'll explore why bad news grabs our attention faster than good news, and how learning to think differently can help you stay calm when the world feels uncertain. Turn on the news, scroll through social media, or listen to any market update, and you'll notice something. Negativity spreads faster than optimism. Bad news grabs attention. Good news gets ignored. That's what Morgan Housel calls the seduction of pessimism. Our brains are wired to notice threats before opportunities. It's a survival instinct. When we hear something bad, we pay attention, because deep down, we want to protect ourselves. That's why people listen more when someone says the market is about to crash than when they say the economy will recover. Fear feels smarter. It sounds cautious, wise, and safe. But over time, pessimism becomes a trap. Because while optimism sounds naive in the short term, it's usually right in the long run. The world moves forward more often than it falls apart. Economies grow. Innovations happen. People adapt. If you bet against progress for too long, history shows you'll lose. Still, pessimism sells because it's emotionally powerful. It makes you feel alert and in control. But the truth is, constant fear doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. The best investors, entrepreneurs, and thinkers understand this balance. They stay realistic, but they never stop believing in long-term progress. Now let's move to lesson 18. When you'll believe anything. When uncertainty is high, people look for answers. And in moments of fear or confusion, almost any explanation can sound convincing. That's why during market crashes, bubbles, or crises, false stories spread fast. People believe them not because they're logical, but because they offer comfort. They make uncertainty feel manageable. Morgan Housel explains that when emotions run high, logic often takes a back seat. The challenge is not just to think clearly, but to stay calm long enough to do so. You can't control what happens in the markets or the world, but you can control how you respond. And the best response isn't panic or blind optimism. It's patience, it's perspective. Because the truth is, bad news feels urgent, but good outcomes take time. The world has always faced problems, and yet, progress continues. Step by step, quietly, behind the noise of fear. So don't fall for the drama. Don't let pessimism steal your peace. Believe in progress, but stay humble. stay alert, but don't live in fear. That's how you keep your mind and your money moving in the right direction. In the next episode, we'll talk about money lessons that last a lifetime. We'll bring all the ideas together and explore how timeless financial wisdom can shape the way you think, live, and build lasting wealth. After everything we've learned, it's time to bring it all together. Morgan Housel ends The Psychology of Money with two final lessons, powerful reminders that wealth is less about numbers and more about behavior. Lesson 19 is called All Together Now. Here, Housel ties all 20 lessons into one timeless truth. Doing well with money isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about having the right mindset. Money is emotional. It's shaped by your habits, your fears, and your values. You don't need to master complex formulas to be wealthy. You just need to master yourself, your patience, your ego, and your ability to stay consistent when things get tough. The real challenge isn't earning money. It's keeping it, growing it, and using it in a way that brings peace instead of pressure. Because wealth isn't measured by what you have, it's measured by what you can afford to live without. Every lesson we've explored, from luck and risk to saving to resilience, connects back to one simple idea. Money is a tool. It's not the goal. The goal is freedom, flexibility, and peace of mind. Now let's move to lesson 20. Confessions. In this final chapter, Housel opens up about his own relationship with money. He admits that even after years of studying finance, he still makes emotional decisions. And that's okay, because perfection isn't the goal. Awareness is. He reminds us that everyone has their own unique story with money, shaped by their experiences, environment, and emotions. What works for one person may not work for another. And that's why comparing yourself to others will only bring frustration. The key is to know what enough means for you, to define success on your own terms, to spend less time trying to impress others, and more time building a life that feels peaceful, purposeful, and free. Because in the end, financial wisdom isn't about control, it's about clarity. It's about knowing what truly matters and letting your money serve those values. In the next episode, we'll have our finale, summary, and reflections. We'll revisit the biggest insights from the psychology of money and uncover the timeless mindset that can help you build wealth and keep it for life. After exploring 20 timeless lessons from the psychology of money, one truth stands above them all. Money is never just about money. It's about behavior. It's about patience. It's about understanding yourself when the world around you is unpredictable. Throughout this series, we've learned that wealth isn't something you chase. It's something you build, slowly, quietly, through consistency and discipline. We've seen how luck and risk shape every financial journey, how saving is more powerful than income, how independence is the ultimate form of wealth, and how true success is living life on your own terms. But perhaps the most important lesson of all is that no one is truly rational about money. We're all driven by our past, our fears, and our dreams. And that's okay. Because being financially wise doesn't mean being perfect. It means being aware. Awareness turns mistakes into lessons. It turns setbacks into progress. And it helps you see that money, when used wisely, is not just a tool, it's a teacher. The goal isn't to have more, it's to need less. The goal isn't to impress others, it's to find peace within yourself. Because wealth, at its core, is the ability to wake up every day and choose how you spend your time. If there's one thing you take from this entire book, let it be this: money is personal. Your journey will never look like anyone else's, and that's what makes it powerful. The moment you stop comparing and start defining success on your own terms, that's the moment you truly begin to master the psychology of money. And if you haven't yet, I highly encourage you to read the original book, The Psychology of Money, by Morgan Housel. It's a powerful, thought-provoking guide that dives even deeper into these lessons. A book that could truly change the way you see money, success, and happiness. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for listening, reflecting, and growing with every episode. But our journey doesn't end here. In the next series, we'll explore one of the greatest strategy books ever written, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's not just about battles and generals. It's about mindset, leadership, and strategy for life and business. So stay tuned, because the next chapter of your growth is about to begin. And remember, wealth starts in the mind long before it shows in your bank account.